Right then, let's get stuck into the world of plants. When you think of a plant, you probably picture a bright, beautiful flower. You might see them in a garden, a wild meadow, or even a dense jungle. These flowers are not just there to look pretty for us, they are on a critical mission. A flower is the plant's ultimate tool for making new life, for creating the next generation of its kind. It's a highly advanced piece of natural engineering, brilliantly designed to produce seeds. Every single part of it has a very specific job to do, all working together in a team to ensure the plant's family line continues long after the original plant is gone. It's a mission of survival, and the flower is the superstar of the show. Think of a flower as a plant's very own reproductive headquarters. It's where all the action happens. The main goal, the entire reason for a flower's existence, is to help the plant reproduce. This process is called sexual reproduction, and it's similar to how many animals, including us, create offspring. It involves combining special cells from two parents, or sometimes from the same parent, to make a brand new, unique individual. This new individual will grow from a tiny seed. The flower is the incredible structure that holds all the necessary equipment to make these seeds. It's a factory for new life, working day and night to complete its vital task. Every detail of a flower, from its shape and size to its color and scent, is perfectly adapted for this one purpose: making seeds. Some flowers are massive and smelly to attract bats in the dead of night, while others are tiny and plain, relying on the wind to carry their precious cargo. They are experts at advertising, using their features to send out signals to the right partners. This whole operation is one of the most important processes on our planet. Without flowers making seeds, we wouldn't have many of the plants that provide food, oxygen, and homes for countless creatures across the globe. It's a spectacular natural wonder happening all around us. So, the next time you spot a colorful bloom on a walk, remember you're looking at a powerhouse of creation. It's not just a decoration, it's a sophisticated biological machine with a single, crucial objective. In this exploration, we're going to break down this machine piece by piece. We'll look at the different parts, find out what each one does, and see how they all work together in this amazing mission of life. We are going to unveil the secrets of floral anatomy, understanding exactly how these incredible structures pull off their mission. Get ready, because the world of flowers is more action-packed than you could ever imagine. Every great headquarters needs protection, and for a flower, that protection comes from a special part called the sepals. If you look at a flower bud that hasn't opened yet, you'll see it's wrapped up in small, green, leaf-like structures. Those are the sepals. Their main job is to act like a team of bodyguards, shielding the delicate and important inner parts of the flower while it's still young and developing. They form a tough outer layer, protecting the flower from bad weather, hungry insects, and any other dangers that might come its way. Once the flower blooms and opens up, the sepals have done their primary job, often folding back at the base of the bloom. Now for the part that everyone notices, the petals. Petals are the big, colorful, and often sweet-smelling parts of the flower. They are like giant, flashy flags designed to grab attention. But who are they trying to attract? Their main audience is animals called pollinators, creatures like bees, butterflies, birds, and bats. The bright colors and patterns on the petals act as a visual guide, shouting, "Hey, over here! I've got a tasty reward for you!" These vibrant displays are not for our benefit. They are a crucial part of the plant's strategy to lure in the help it needs for its reproductive mission. The petals don't just use color to attract their animal partners. Many of them also produce a special scent. This perfume, which can be sweet and lovely to us, or sometimes quite strange, is another powerful signal. It travels on the wind, reaching pollinators from far away and guiding them directly to the flower. Think of it as a scent map leading to a hidden treasure. The treasure is a sugary liquid called nectar, which the flower produces as a reward. The pollinator gets a high-energy meal, and in return, the flower gets the assistance it needs to complete its life cycle. It's a brilliant deal for both sides. So we have the sepals acting as the tough outer guard, protecting the flower in its early stages. Then we have the petals, which are the colorful advertising billboards. Together, these two outer parts of the flower play vital roles in protection and attraction. The sepals ensure the flower develops safely, and the petals ensure that once it's ready, the right visitors will arrive to help it on its quest. They are the first two components of this incredible natural machine, setting the stage for the crucial events that happen deeper inside the flower's core. Without them, the mission would fail before it even began. Now we move deeper into the flower's headquarters, to the parts that do the really important work. Let's look at the stamens first. The stamens are the male parts of the flower. You can usually spot them as a group of long, thin stalks surrounding the very center of the bloom. Each stamen is made of two bits, a long, slender filament, which is like the stalk, and a small pod at the top called the anther. The anther is the pollen factory. It produces and holds a fine, powdery substance called pollen. Each tiny grain of pollen contains the male cells needed for the plant to reproduce. The job of the stamen is simple but vital. Make the pollen and get it ready for its journey. In the very center of the flower, we find the carpel, which is sometimes also called the pistil. This is the female part of the flower. The carpel is often shaped a bit like a vase or a bottle. It's made up of 3 sections. At the very top is the stigma, which is often sticky or feathery. Its job is to be a landing pad, perfectly designed to catch and hold onto any pollen that arrives. Below the stigma is a tube-like structure called the style. Finally, at the base of the carpel is the ovary. Inside the ovary are tiny structures called ovules. These ovules contain the female cells, and they are the parts that will one day grow into seeds. So, we have the male parts, the stamens, producing pollen, and the female part, the carpel, holding the ovules. The mission is to get the pollen from the anther of a stamen to the stigma of a carpel. This movement of pollen is called pollination. It's the critical first step in making a seed. Sometimes pollen from a flower's own anther lands on its own stigma. This is called self-pollination. It's a good backup plan, but it's not the best way to do things. The plant gets a much better result when it receives pollen from a completely different flower of the same species. This transfer of pollen between 2 different flowers is called cross-pollination. It's often carried out by those pollinators we talked about, the bees, birds, and butterflies attracted by the petals. As a bee visits a flower to drink nectar, pollen from the anthers brushes onto its fuzzy body. When the bee flies to another flower, some of that pollen rubs off onto the new flower's sticky stigma. The wind can also be a pollinator, blowing pollen from one plant to another, especially for plants like grasses that don't have showy flowers. Cross-pollination is the plant's ultimate goal because it mixes up the genetic material from 2 different parent plants. Once a pollen grain has successfully landed on the stigma, the next stage of the mission begins. This is called fertilization. The pollen grain, which is now stuck to the stigma, grows a tiny tube. This pollen tube travels all the way down through the style, like a tunnel being drilled, heading straight for the ovary at the base of the carpel. It's on a mission to reach one of the ovules waiting inside. When the pollen tube finally reaches an ovule, the male cells from the pollen grain travel down the tube and join with the female cells inside the ovule. This joining of male and female cells is fertilization. The mission is a success. After fertilization, the flower's job is almost done and it begins to change dramatically. The fertilized ovule starts to develop into a seed. Inside this seed is a tiny baby plant called an embryo, and a food supply to help it grow when the time is right. The petals, which are no longer needed for attraction, will wither and fall off. The stamens will also shrivel away. The only parts that continue to grow are the ones involved in protecting and nurturing the new seeds. The flower as you knew it has transformed. It's focused now entirely on the next generation that it has created. As the seeds develop, the ovary surrounding them also begins to change. The walls of the ovary swell up and grow, turning into a fruit. Yes, that's right. A fruit is basically a mature, ripened ovary that is designed to protect the seeds and help them travel to new places. Things we call fruits, like apples, berries, and peaches, all started as the ovary of a flower. Even some things we call vegetables, like tomatoes and cucumbers, are technically fruits because they develop from the flower's ovary and contain seeds. The fruit can be fleshy and tasty to attract animals, who eat it and spread the seeds elsewhere. This whole process of sexual reproduction, from pollination to the creation of fruit and seeds, is incredibly important for the survival of plants. Cross-pollination, in particular, creates genetic variation. This means that the new baby plants are not exact copies of their parents. They are a unique mix of both. This variety is like a secret weapon for the plant species. It means that some of the offspring might be better at surviving diseases, changes in climate, or other challenges. It gives the species as a whole a much better chance of adapting and thriving for generations to come. It's the ultimate survival strategy, all powered by the brilliance of the flower.